are wolves! Ow! Ooh.
In the world of Terrafirmacraft, you are prey. Your first moments aren't a game. They're a desperate race against time. There are no trees to punch, no easy wooden tools. There is only you, the stone beneath your feet, and the spark that separates you from the darkness. My mission was simple: survive long enough to craft a weapon. But out here, you're never alone. I knew there was a bear nearby, and the rustling in the grass could be anything from a wolf to something much worse.
Hyenas are wolves!
Hardened dolomite. Perfect. To make a javelin, you can't just use any rock. You need something hard, something that can hold an edge. This hardened dolomite, this was my first breakthrough. But this mod pack has a brutal health and crafting system. Finding material was just the first step in a long, complicated process.
Well, we got the javelin head.
The process is precise. Each rock must be knapped into a specific shape: an axe head, a shovel, and most importantly, a javelin head. One wrong click and the rock shatters, wasting precious time. With my first weapon in hand, I finally had a chance. I needed wood for a long-lasting fire, and food was critical. But of course, the moment I let my guard down, I wasn't the only one who was out here.
What? What is happening?
And I'm loving it. This is the brutal loop of Terrafirmacraft. One mistake sends you back to square one. Your body and gear guarded by the very thing that killed you. I was trapped, surrounded by boars. I couldn't see in the tall grass, with my health draining and my supplies gone.
Ugh. We're gonna have to go get water here in a minute.
The boars had me pinned down, but a new crisis was emerging: thirst. I had no choice but to make a break for it and find a reliable water source. The river was my salvation, not just for drinking, but for the clay lining its banks. With clay, I could engineer a long-term solution: pottery. Jugs to hold water and a pot to boil it, finally giving me a way to stay hydrated without getting sick. With my new tools and a renowned sense of purpose, it was time to turn the tables. But even with a small victory, the core problem remained. I needed better tools, and for that, I needed metal.
Okay. So now we have some realness cooking. What was that? Our first copper nugget. We need 10 of those.
There it was, copper, the key to everything, the ticket out of the Stone Age. But finding it is easy. Processing it is a multi-step engineering problem. I had to craft a ceramic vessel capable of holding molten metal, build a fire hot enough to melt the ore, and then finally pour my first tool head.
Truth. Our first tool.
After 7 in-game days of dying, starving, and struggling, it all came down to this. This wasn't just a solve. This was progress. This was the key that unlocked lumber, which unlocked crafting tables, which unlocked everything else. This was the dawn of my own personal copper age.
Progress. Okay, we should have enough to do this. 2 sticks, this, and this. And then it's this, this, and this. The copper age, baby, we did it. Now we need a cutting board, but I still don't know how to make one, because we need blanks. There's got to be another way to get a cutting board. You got like a primitive chalking block. Now is it this and then... Oh. Well, there's a support. Haha, we have lumber, baby. Got a thunderstorm coming in.
With my new saw, I could finally build a proper workshop, but my original spawn was a death trap. Surrounded by boars and far from a reliable water source, it was time to migrate. I packed up my meager belongings and moved my entire operation to the banks of a river that had saved me earlier. At the new location, I built a fire pit, a crafting table, and my first attempt at an automated ore processor, a sluice. But in engineering, your first prototype rarely ever works. My design was flawed. The gradient was too shallow, but that's the point. It's not about getting it right the first time, it's about surviving long enough to learn from your mistakes. We have fire, we have boiled water, and we have our first copper tool. The foundation is laid. The real engineering is about to begin.
So we're gonna fix the sluice. I messed up my sluice. And it's over here. Sounds like our fire just went out. Okay, we got our sluice. These still have quite a bit of time to go. But our goal for this one is to try to get as many copper tools as we possibly can.
But before I could build an empire, I had to solve the immediate problems first. The sluice needed a redesign to get the water flowing.
Yeah. I think if we do this, it'll make this a water block, source block. And then we'll just have to grab some dirt here and fill this in. And then I can dig 7 that way, and that will give us what we need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm also going to go ahead and just dig these out just so I can mess that up. My bad. Give me a second. We'll fix it. Yes. We're sluicing. Okay, I broke the sluice.
With the sluice working, next up was a reliable food source, which meant braving the dangerous river. But even with food and water, a new threat emerged. A mental decay caused by the elements themselves. The solution was simple but profound. I needed a roof.
I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
There are quite a few things that can actually affect your sanity. The big one is being in a well-lit area and also staying dry. So the roof was of precedent matter because we were able to get torches, we had food, we had water, and we had light from everything else. I dried some bricks and then we used that to start placing our first parts of our roof.
I don't know if the storm has passed or not, but my sanity keeps going down when I'm outside. I don't know if this is giving me enough cover that it's preventing me from getting sick or whatever, but it's doing its job, I would say.
A single sluice wasn't enough to get the resources I needed. I had to think quick and scale up the design. A good sluice processing system is what I needed.
Yeah, I need as many of these as possible because we need a lot of lumber.
It was a massive undertaking, but the assembly line would become the engine of all my future progress, turning worthless gravel into the building blocks of technology.
So we're going to do 3. That'll give us 4. And then when I place this sluice, there we go. We're sluicing, baby. It's so strange. It's making me like stagger them. I mean, I'm fine with that.
And with that, the engine was running. The production line was working, sifting through hundreds of blocks of gravel and slowly but surely building the stockpile of copper I would need for the next great leap forward.
And toss in this one. And then come up to this one and take this half. And I guess we need to grab this torch and bring it over here. And we're just going to keep an eye out for the copper bits. And I mean, I'm going to go ahead and toss the sand in there because apparently we get redstone and stuff from that one. Copper bits. Hematite. That's iron. I mean, we're on a roll, baby. Yeah, we already almost have enough for another tool. So imagine when I put 32 on each one.
Using the new sluice design, we were able to get enough copper to make a couple of the tools. But this was really just the first stage. I had to collect about 30 pieces of clay to be able to make each one of the ingot molds, and then I still had to go and fire them.
Pickaxe. Pretty simple. Some ingot molds. This. The pan. The pan. And then that. But that should be everything. Okay, and now we've completed ceramic. Probably need the tongs. I don't know what is hurting me. I think my tongs broke. Okay, that was rough. I need to be able to place them. If I can't place them, I'm screwed. Now we got slowness. And we're gonna have mining fatigue for a minute. Okay, so this is fine. Okay, did we complete the ceramics task? Ingot mold. Okay, ceramics done. Create tongs, wooden tongs. We could do that right about now. Even though mine did not seem to work. So then this is 40, and then we just need 2 of these. Then that right there is 300. That's 3 tools. And then, oh, we might as well take this too and go ahead and fire it up. Boom. Oh, too close to the fire. But there we go. Just gotta try to be quick about it. I think we got just enough time. Alright, we got our chisel. We'll go ahead and make the pickaxe.
This was the real start of the Copper Age for us. Now that we have the chisel and the pickaxe, we can go and get the raw stones we need to make the Primitive Anvil, as well as making the charcoal forge so we could start making actual ingots. And with that confidence boost, I thought it was time to give the boars a visit to see if we could finally get some meat and maybe even some rawhide for some
They're
materials.
still down here. I think that's a win. You tried.
And with that, the boars that plagued me in the beginning of the game are now our first source of meat, as well as a medium rawhide for clothing.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. Okay, so now I have some bacon.
With some new hardware acquired, it was time to start extracting the raw rock we need in order to make the Primitive Anvil and as well as the charcoal forge. In order to extract a raw rock, you have to break all the blocks on all 6 sides of the rock, and then it pops off and you're able to pick it up off the ground. We need quite a few of these, 11 to be exact.
Almost there. And like I said, we're just going to run along the bank. And I swore I saw some around here. Okay, cool. Okay.
And now that I've found some raw materials, it was time to start extracting each rock meticulously by breaking all the blocks that are supporting it. I just had to do this quite a few times to get enough in order to make it.
But for now, I should be able to 1, 2, 3, grab the hammer. And now we have a primitive forge.
By this time, we are just a couple advancements away from getting out of the pre-industrial age. We just have to make a quern, and then we have to make the charcoal forge, which just requires more raw materials.
Now we need the millstone and the quern, and that was the big parts. We're gonna have to leave here soon. I should have brought water with me. Oh yeah, we're gonna stop now. The mining fatigue's already gotten annoying.
After extracting the raw resources, it was time to head back to base and actually start making the quern.
But it gives me the quern handstone.
With the quern made, it was time to start focusing on the actual charcoal pit, which we needed to get a block of charcoal and some more raw rocks.
And I don't think it has to be exactly like that. But let's go ahead and take all of our wood here. And now these are both full. And then if I take this fire starter.
In the next episode, we're going to focus on making the actual charcoal forge. I love you, Minute By. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, remember to stay girthy, my friends.